It's time to mock Zumock.
Please clap.
All right, and with that, I want to bring in a special guest. Vince Barry is joining the show. Hey, what's up, Vince? How's it going?
What's going on, guys? How am I supposed to follow that fucking bumper there? That's amazing.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll play a clip of Chad Zumock, and then it'll be very easy. You'll find out very quickly how easy it is to follow
dude,
that.
I was so you sent me the link, and I was so looking forward. Just as the seconds ticked on in that video, I was looking forward to this.
Yeah, so it's interesting. Chad was recently interviewed by Madison Malloy, and randomly, because this is just how my life has been working out lately, Vince happens to know Madison. I just sent him the link. I'm like, hey, we're going to be looking at this. You're like, oh, yeah, I know Madison. It's like, oh, okay. That's cool.
Yeah, I've known her for a couple years, working at Fairfield Comedy Club down in Fairfield, Connecticut, and she did a couple spots there. And it was during the pandemic, so there was a lot of time to get to talking, and it'll be interesting to discuss this whole scene here on YouTube. So,
all right, let's get right into it then, because what happens is Chad goes on her show to talk about getting canceled. And Chad tells the story about how when he was out in Hollywood and he was working at the Comedy Store, he had this incident with a very famous comedian and then was canceled. Now, I did put in a little sound effect every time there's a name drop in this one.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, Chad sure
I was going to ask for the bell.
Chad sure does love to drop some names. So I got a little Stuttering John, boom, every time you hear a name drop.
I was out there. It was my first 2 months. I was on All Things Comedy, Punch Drunk Sports with my buddy Sam Tripoli, Art Shafir, and we were doing a podcast. And Sam Tripoli was going against Patton Oswalt. I'll name names because I'm already canceled. He already canceled me.
Go for it.
He was going after him and saying stuff because Patton Oswalt at the time, there's a director named Jordan Peele who directed that movie Get Out.
Yep.
And he's a great director, fantastic talent.
Never heard of him.
But Jordan Peele went on record by saying he would not hire any white male leads in any of his films. So Patton started pandering to that, like, oh, yeah, and he's making fun of white male leads. I go, hey, Patton, why don't you give up all your roles? You're in Pixar films. You're, why are you pandering? And then he started coming at me, quote tweeting, and all his followers, his fans were coming at me, including his wife now, Meredith Sellinger, who's in that movie Dream a Little Dream with Corey Feldman and Corey Haim.
Yeah, we know. We know he's
we need a
married
little
to.
bucket to pick up all those names. He dropped so many names.
All right. So apparently, because of a tweet that he put out about Patton, he then was canceled from Hollywood. And this is him explaining that maybe what he did wasn't cool and maybe he shouldn't have done that.
He's coming at me saying things, and I said something a little out of character. It wasn't cool because I said he may or may not have killed his ex-wife, which is not cool. I'm on record by saying
You
that.
should recognize that, yeah.
He seems proud of himself, doesn't he, Vince? He's like, that wasn't cool. Pretty funny, though, huh?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's just been a thing online. Like, that's a Reddit joke. He killed his wife.
I don't know if it's a joke. This is what I give the same
that's
defense.
The problem. I think it might be true.
I give the same defense to Alex Jones about Sandy Hook. He's not the only one saying it. Right? We're trying to pretend like he was the only one talking about that, or that Chad's the only guy to say that Patton killed his ex-wife.
Chad Zumock's the only guy that knows exactly what happened that day. We don't know who.
Most people are just saying it to each other on the internet. They're not saying it right to Patton Oswalt.
Oh, I'm sure there's tons of people who are tweeting at Patton with that, but whatever. It doesn't matter. Because what I couldn't wrap my head around is Chad's not famous. He's not actually in the industry. So how did he get canceled? What does that mean? Let's find out what he actually means by that.
I used to go to the Comedy Store, like everyone, Whitney Cummings, everybody, hey, how you doing? Nobody would look at me. And I go, I'm canceled. I'm legit canceled now because of this guy.
So Whitney Cummings used to say hi to him and then stopped saying hi to him. Yeah. And Chad's like, well, I'm done. That's it. No recovering from this.
I'm canceled from being a customer at a comedy club.
Is that what the C for on his hat?
So I think who canceled Chad was Chad.
Oh, yeah.
Right? He's just not very funny or good at this kind of thing, which is why...
Whitney Cummings also has like a resting bitch face. So she probably just looked at him with her normal face, and he's like, "Oh, I'm out."
All right, so how does he cope with that? And Madison wants to know, oh, poor Chad, that must have been tough. How do you stay strong when everyone's against you? It's Chad versus the rest of the world.
So how do you stay strong? I feel like that would break me.
Oh,
How do you continue moving forward?
I was drinking a bottle of Tito's vodka a day to cope and to pour depression on top of my depression. That's how bad it was. It was not fun. It was sad. And you're a comic, you can take it. I'm a person first. I have feelings.
Yeah.
You're actually just a person.
Yeah. You're a person last.
No one's saying, oh, yeah, but Chad, you're a comic. No one's ever said that. Promise you that. So
he didn't really explain anything either.
Well, he says that he was depressed and he drank a bottle of vodka every day. What size bottle? Like an airplane? Because I can't imagine this guy can afford a big bottle of Tito's vodka. Yeah. I'm assuming it's like one of those little one shots. He's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Back to bed.
But here's the thing. So I got to know. It sounds like he got a couple mean tweets.
Yeah.
He got a mean look from Whitney Cummings, and then he became an alcoholic. Is that what I'm seeing? Like,
do you think the drinking started before that, maybe, Vince?
I would hope so, because maybe, oh my God.
Well, it's interesting because he tells the story. I don't even remember if I have this clipped or not. But his story is that he moved out to L.A. because of his girlfriend at the time. She was moving out there. So he moved out there to be with her. And it had nothing to do with him pursuing a career in comedy. And then she dumped him immediately. And so he started going to the Comedy Store by himself and drinking every night and watching comedy, and then eventually got up on stage and started doing comedy. That's kind of like his origin story for all of this. So
was this before or after he got kicked off of Ohio radio? What's the timeline?
I think this is all
that?
before. I think then he moved back to Cleveland and got that amazing job as the third mic of an afternoon drive show.
Jesus Christ.
Still very impressive, in my opinion. All right, so what I love about Chad, though, is that he's actually somehow even dumber than we thought he was.
And I want to be liked. I want to make people, yeah.
He wants to be liked, and this is how he behaves?
No.
Chad, if you want to be liked, you're going about it all the wrong ways.
So I was coping in just dark ways. And, am I fully recover from it? I mean, I moved on, but it still took a lot out of me because people I thought were my friends were never my friends.
Correct.
They were just trying to climb a ladder or do something. And
Chad's acting like people were using him for fame and fortune. Okay, sure.
You know what's great about me, Madison? And I love you too, because we haven't talked in so long. Like, I have nothing to offer you. Nothing.
Okay, that I agree.
Yeah, no shit.
Right there, Madison's going, yeah, why did I book this asshole on my show again? What are we doing here?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
21 views on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, this is not a popular show. So when you met Madison, she was doing comedy.
Yes.
Was she good at comedy?
She has, as many comedians do, has her niche of what fans she has. So it is white women that look like her and white men that want to sleep with women that look like her.
I see.
Most of her jokes are about sucking dick on a boat. So you kind of get the picture where she then finds the guy in the audience after the show who has the boat and sucks his dick.
Oh, that's interesting because I pulled this clip where Madison is talking about how sad her fucking life is.
Let me tell you something. I was miserable. I used to lay in bed and just dream about sucking the right dick so I could be taken care of my whole life.
I feel like a girl like her could pull that off, don't you?
This would be the right time for Chad to be wearing the captain's hat, don't you think?
Damn it.
He switches hats.
Listen, this is a girl that checks tax returns before she fucks you. Chad would have no shot.
That's 100%. And actually, that's fucking funny because at a certain point, she makes a joke about Chad being broke. And watch what Chad does. This is so embarrassing.
Oh, no.
This is so... I mean, you can't even imagine someone would do this.
Oh, you're going to give me the joke.
I'm going to give you the joke. Because
why don't you take it?
I go, well, because I'm not doing that much stand-up, and I'm not broke.
Yeah, quick background on this. She goes, after the show, stick around. Someone told me a joke. It's not a comedian, so I can actually give you the joke and you can use it. And he goes, well, you do the joke. I guess she's not doing comedy anymore. She's a motivational speaker now,
Yeah.
which is weird because she used to cry herself to sleep hoping to suck a guy's dick who had a lot of money. And now she's motivational speakers are rarely all that successful in life. You know, there's Tony Robbins and then it's like, it falls off a cliff after that.
Oh, you're going to give me the joke.
I'm going to give you the joke. Because
Why don't you take it?
I go, well, because I'm not doing that much stand up and I'm not broke.
Ooh.
But you, on the other hand, I'm just kidding. Just fucking with you, Chad.
It got real serious and then kind of.
Actually, I am broke in certain ways.
Plug
Fucking
something right now. I want you to plug your podcast. I want to show you something. All right.
You're on her podcast.
All right, plug something.
Why would she plug
my
her podcast?
Oh yeah. Well, they're listening to the damn podcast.
No shit.
He's in a behind the walls. Okay, he's back.
Watch
What'd you find?
this, everybody.
Look at this, Madison.
Oh, look at those dollar bills.
Pulled out a pile
you're
of
going to like
20s.
the titty bar in Miami or something. 11.
All this money, Madison.
I love
She
it.
hit it on the nose,
And
man.
like,
She
look
got
at her
the titty bar
life.
money.
What's that, Vince?
It's titty bar money. Either that or he's selling Adderall to high school kids. 'Cause, like, you just don't-
This is one thing that I know. I mean, this what he just did is so embarrassing.
Yeah.
I can't believe he just did that. Like, oh, you don't think you think I'm broke? Here's $500 in cash.
Yeah, like when
$500.
Stunt Joe didn't tip Anthony's crew, and he's like, "Oh, wait, I got it."
Yeah, right. Yes, it was very similar to that. And it's funny because we know he opens for Jim Brewer, who sells out theaters. So yeah, he probably makes $500
Yeah, he's
doing that.
He's near money.
Yeah, right. But I can tell you this. I know people who have a lot of money. None of them have $500 in cash laying around in their apartment waiting to show it off to you. Very rarely are they that concerned how much cash is laying around.
They also don't have futons.
Yeah, they're also not sitting on a futon with a poster of themselves playing basketball behind them.
Is that from
that's a
high
pretty good
school?
point.
Like it says Kent, Ohio. So this is all just reliving his high school. I was kind of okay at something in high school thing.
I think he peaked being the radio star that he was. And so I think all of this comes back to, remember when people knew about me from the radio?
Yeah.
Because he always wore Argyle sweaters back then when he did his comedy shows. That's what he was known for, the Argyle guy. Pretty wacky.
Oh boy, the Argyle guy. That's such a, when you're known as the something guy, you're fucking done in comedy.
Argyle is the 2020 rainbow suspenders of comedy.
Yeah, right. He ended every joke with Argyle. That's his catchphrase. All right. So, Chad is so proud of the way that he's doing what he's doing because he's doing it his way.
I'm still doing it, but I'm doing it on my own terms. I don't care about whatever direction we have to go, but I'm doing it my way, and that's fine, and I'm good with that. It's
Are
not
you
the
happier
tradition.
now doing it your way and not conforming to all the bullshit?
I love it.
Yeah.
Listen,
Good question too.
there's the right
face he
way.
makes.
Yeah. There's the right way, the wrong way, and the Chad way.
Right.
Isn't that also the wrong way? Yes, but faster.
I won't take any funny jokes from somebody else or money.
He has no fame, no friends, no money, and he's like, I'm just glad I'm doing it completely wrong all the time.
Yeah.
It's really something to be proud of there, Chad.
His voice sounded like probably on the radio. You would have believed that. Oh yeah, I'm happy doing it my way. Once you
Yeah.
see his face when he fucking says that,
Yes.
lying.
Yeah, there's some tells.
The face we're looking at right now, where
Not a good scene.
Not a good scene.
he's beat red and he looks like he's about to cry.
Yes. All right, so now he's going to talk about what the wrong way to do it is because he witnessed this firsthand when he was out in Hollywood.
Like I used to be in rooms with Joe Rogan, who's one of the biggest guys in the world, and Joe's
Yeah.
great. He's fantastic.
Right?
But I would see comics position themselves to get in his direction of conversation so they can get on his podcast. I remember Annie Lieberman, and I'll name names. This is all on me, by the way. And Madison has nothing to do with this.
Yep, I'm just a platform.
Yeah, she asked the questions. I remember Annie, and she's great. She's funny. But I remember Joe getting off stage at the OR at the Comedy Store, go outside and position himself by Joe's car to have a conversation with him. Like I saw that, and it's just so gross to me.
Wait a second. You're telling me that you want to make friends with successful people because they can help you out, and he finds that to be gross. Yeah. I used to work with these salespeople who would keep asking customers for the sale, and they were successful at it. I'm like, that's just so gross. Why are you asking for the sale as a salesperson? After that, Madison says, we have to admire her drive. And she goes, and I'd want to be on Joe Rogan's podcast. Like, Chad, you don't get it. The thing that you're appalled by is what you should be doing.
Right.
You should be friendly with people. You should be making connections. You're doing the opposite of that.
And that's why Sam Tripoli gets on Joe Rogan's show.
Correct.
And you're fucking on some nobody's podcast.
And you're next to Madison. Exactly. Yeah, you're doing it wrong,
virtually.
Chad. And honestly, people can learn from this. I learned a lot in my life from people failing. And I go, I'm going to do it the opposite of that. I'm not going to do it that way at all. Watch how Chad goes about being in show business and do the opposite of it. And you'll be very successful, I assume. It's like that Seinfeld when George was like, I figured it out. I just got to do everything the opposite of how I would have done it. All right. So, but the good news is, though, is that Chad can at least go to sleep knowing that he's not a sellout.
He's a game changer.
Yeah.
I mean, made Tim Dillon a multimillionaire. So I
that pisses me off too. So he says, yeah, being on Joe Rogan's great. You know, he made Tim Dillon a multimillionaire. No, Tim Dillon made Tim Dillon a multimillionaire. Tim Dillon's hilarious. His show is hilarious. He's a great guest on Rogan. The reason why he was on that show is because he would crack Rogan up at the Comedy Store. He's like, you got to come on my show. And this is the way people like Chad think. They're like, well, Tim Dillon's only famous because he kissed Rogan's ass. Like, no. Yes, you need the opportunity, but you have to be prepared for that opportunity as well. So when you get on there, you kill it and people enjoy you.
Yeah.
Chad would be terrible on Joe Rogan's show. He wouldn't gain any support. He wouldn't become a multimillionaire if he was on Joe Rogan's show tomorrow. I guarantee you that. He's not a funny or interesting guy.
Right.
It's actually unlikable in every way.
get it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's something gross about it. I like authentic. I'm in the worst industry because I'm too real. I'm real. And I'm not good in show business.
But
He's even doing the stuff.
You're not good in show business. Chad, you're the opposite of good in show business. Why? No.
I like that he says, I'm keeping it real, like that Chris Rock thing. Real dumb. Yeah, keeping it real. Good job, Chad. It's going to get you a lot of places, keeping it real.
But no friends. That was his strategy, was I'm going to go through this whole thing and make no friends in comedy and then complain 20 years later. Like, what the fuck, bro?
Well, you don't even know this, Vince, but when Chad does these comedy shows, the young comics look up to him. And they are so impressed by
is he fucking tall?
How good how good he is. Yeah, he's up on stage, so they have to. They're so impressed by how good he is at comedy.
He sells out everywhere. And we did these shows this weekend. The young comic comes up to me and he calls me Mr. Zumock, which is hilarious because I'm an idiot. And he goes, what would you like me to say about you? You know, your opening credits and all that. And he watched my set. He took notes, and he had that hunger that I want this so bad. And I haven't had that forever. Like he had this I want to be great, and I'm taking notes. I want to learn from you, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck. And I felt guilty.
I wrote down here, do the opposite of this.
He's like, don't talk about Walmart.
We were all going to bang our heads together going for that same line of doing the opposite, because that's exactly what the kid was writing in his notebooks.
Yeah.
Do the opposite.
He's sitting there, he's going, don't tell people to clap during the show. That's embarrassing. I wrote a lot of notes down during your set, Chad.
Do you think that he called him Mr. Zumock because he was actually his substitute teacher last semester?
I was in your class.
Oh, my God. All right. So then at the end of this interview, Chad proves that he's undateable. He is a loser in every way you measure this. And he has no self-confidence, nor should he at this point.
And as you get older, you just get stuck in your own ways. Like I have such a fucking weird lifestyle that I don't know if any partner or person would want to be a part of this. Like I wear flip-flops in every room of the house. I have a whole thing going on that somebody might go, what the fuck's wrong with this guy?
Yeah. Or they might just love you for you.
That would be cool.
I can't even fathom that concept. It's not even possible? I'm not sure about that. So
and the face she made.
Madison's nice enough, but I do not know why she decided to have Chad on her show. This was not a good
I have a theory on that.
What is it?
What happens is when you get outed as a conservative in comedy, the guests that you can get kind of go down in quality. So,
there was some talk about a little anti-Biden talk going on during the show. Okay.
You know what you should do is text Harrison Young
Yep.
Chad's email. Say, this guy wants to be on your show.
Fuck, you're right.
Wow.
That would be better than me being on his show. We should get.
That's beautiful.
That'd be great if Harrison's like, so you're a comic. Can you tell me a joke? And Chad's just like, no. I've never told a joke before. I wasn't ready for that. All right. Now, normally I don't check out Sit Down Zumock, but he had my friend Adam Hughes on the show. Hughesy.
Yeah.
So Hughesy's on with Chad. Now, this is going back a couple of weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah. And, of course, Adam Hughes had my back. It was very cool of him to do that. But I just pulled a couple of clips from the show because Chad, the fact that he thinks that he has fans from doing compound media and being on Anthony's show is so insane to me.
Here's the thing they don't realize. Clip this, Bex. I was on Anthony's show for a long time, so a lot of those compound fans are still my fans, regardless of how they're trying to switch the narrative.
Wow. So he thinks because he was a guest on Anthony's show that he made fans. No, you have to be interesting and funny on a show in order to get fans. Not just being on the show. I don't know anyone who's a Chad Zumock fan. I've never met one in real life.
No.
But why would they be subscribed to Anthony's network for Chad if Chad's not on it anymore?
Right.
I just don't what's his reasoning?
No. Immediately he just goes, no, I was on Anthony's show, therefore I have fans. Nope. Not how that works at all.
There's a lot of people in that audience that are still fans of mine. So I don't think it's bad for anybody. But unfortunately, Frank, the fucking pussy who hangs out in chat rooms, who lives with his mom and dad still with a kid, and Chrissy, who lives in a barn, they don't have the balls to go face to face. They're keyboard warriors. That's what it is.
All right, so Chad's explaining this whole thing. This was before we were down in Orlando, and he's explaining this thing where we didn't want him at the Orlando Improv for the Comedians of the Compound show.
Right.
He's not wanted there. He's a douchebag. He's called all of us out multiple times. He's dedicated his entire Patreon to goofing on Chrissy and Frank. They're putting on this show, and he's like, why don't you want me there? What do you mean? What do you mean? Why don't we want you there? So he's trying to pretend like, oh, well, they're just pussies because they don't want to confront me face to face. They're keyboard warriors. Keyboard warriors. Chrissy puts herself out there all the time. She's the opposite of a keyboard warrior. She's not hiding behind her computer.
We have lives like this is like radio when you had your show and somebody else had another morning show and you fought. Like these are like where nobody's hiding here. Everybody's very transparent in what they're doing. It's not like Chrissy's on sock puppet accounts on Twitter like some people.
Correct. Yes. Chad is the one with the sock puppet accounts where he's trying to, call out Bert Kreischer. But
compliment himself.
Yeah, I compliment him. Wow, you were really funny last night. Like, which one of the 7 people in the audience tweeted that to you? So this is Chad claiming to not give a fuck. And this is my favorite thing about Chad is how often he devotes time to explain he just doesn't care.
So they think they can gang up on me, and that's not the case. I'm like, you're dealing with a dude who doesn't give a fuck. Period. I don't care.
All right. So he doesn't give a fuck. That's why he's indestructible. Because he doesn't care, Andy. As soon as you start caring, then you're vulnerable. He doesn't give a fuck. All right, fast forward a few weeks. This is what he put out this week on his show.
But I wanted to do a cleanse. I need a break from this world, these people. I'm not defeated. I just don't care. I'm over it. I don't want to hear about Gino. I don't want to hear about Chrissy. I don't want to hear about Frank. I don't want to hear about Steel Toe Guy. I don't want to hear about Bert Kreischer.
Gosh, taking a break from this. He seems to care. It almost seems like he's a bit defeated there.
Yeah. When does the break start?
Yeah, I'm going to take 2 months off. Come back at the beginning of the year.
He really is stuttering John on every fucking level, minus the success earlier in life. Yeah. That's the only thing that Chad doesn't have going for him.
If he takes a break, you guys got to really hope Opie steps it up because I don't know what you guys are going to do with Patreon.
I don't know. We got Lorenzo Areola now, Harrison Young. All right, so now Chad claims that even though we're goofing on him, it's not going to stick. It's not working for us.
Teflon Chad.
But when I started going after Chrissy, and then when Kumia turned on me because of Kevin, that's when Carl turned because he's not authentic either. And he's just like, I can cash in on this. This is my new thing. And it's not working. It's not sticking because fucking Opie's a narcissist and John's a buffoon and I don't give a fuck.
Okay, so Chad thinks that I'm not a real person, and I just decided to start goofing on him because I was like, oh, Anthony's going to goof on him, then I'll do that too. That'll be my thing. And he doesn't think that it works because he's a real person. He's not like Stuttering John or Opie, where there's just endless material to rip on.
Yeah.
He's wrong about that.
Right. And he doesn't care, except he's emailing multiple people to do retractions, take shit down that makes him look bad. But he doesn't care about any of that.
All he does is care.
Yeah.
He's a reputation management machine. That's all he fucking does. So, all right. He's going to claim that he's not sticking as someone that we can rag on each episode. I declare song parody contest, Chad Zumock. And I was thinking about this. The name Zumock, there's so many songs. For those who hate Zumock. You know, there's just so many, you know, I hate Zumock, Mock. You know, there's so many tunes that I think would work with Chad Zumock.
Sure.
So I'm putting that out there.
It's official.
It's official.
Go.
Chad Zumock song parody contest. Start those submissions, please. I look forward to that. So after that, he goes on to explain that Shuley and Bob do what we do, but way better. They're the only ones who do it well on the Uncle Rico show.
Okay.
So for some reason, Chad, who, by the way, was trying to get on my show many times, the only times he's been on my show is because he reached out to me asking to be on the show, has reached out multiple times since then to be on the show, now says our show sucks, and he hates it. So wait, who's authentic? I feel like maybe Chad's the one who's, you know, losing the plot, as they say. But anyway,
spinning the narrative.
Yeah, so now he's trying to say that, like, oh, yeah. We just do like a shitty version of what Shuley and Bob Levy are doing. I can't wait for them to turn on Chad to hear what he says about those guys. Because you know
they need new material too.
You know what's coming next. Oh, dude. DabbleCon will be ChadCon very quickly. I mean, we're doing a whole
Can I tell you,
WTP Live.
I thought that DabbleCon was just a joke that people were perpetuating just to get under John's skin. And now that I know it's a real thing, God, it just fills me with so much joy.
It's amazing, isn't it? I can't believe it all came together that we're actually doing this thing. It's going to be incredible.
And a real club co-signed this. It's unbelievable, dude. That's pretty fucking cool.
And I should mention, because we're doing it at the Comedy at the Carlson, which is where we also did the Creep Off roast, but we're doing DabbleCon in the main show area.
Wow.
Yeah. So we're doing, it's over 300 people it holds. Like, this is going to be a big show.
Yeah. There's 300 people all gathered to make fun of one bozo who hasn't been relevant in 35 years. I love
well, he's relevant now. He's relevant again.
There's a theme park in the works too.
Stuttering John spit slide.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
The teacup ride is just a bunch of Coors cans.
That's pretty good. Yeah, the log ride, when you get to the bottom, it's just Stuttering John spitting on you. Like, I'm soaked. All right. So now Chad's going to explain what a dork I am. Let's learn about this.
Carl is a dork. He's a nerd who loves Weezer. He was in a Weezer cover band. He loves Rivers Cuomo. He lives in Rochester. He never took a chance. He never moved to LA. He never moved to New York. He loved O&A. He started his little podcast, and he's doing well, but he's a dork.
All right. I love Ween, not Weezer. Not Weezer.
Oh, my God.
I've never been in a Weezer cover band. I've never been in a Ween cover band. We do Ween tribute shows for sure. Yeah. I like the band Ween, not Weezer. I am a dork, but I like Ween. It's a different type of dork than a Weezer dork. I love how Chad's always explained to me what cool is and what's cool. You know what's cool? Being good at what you do and making a living from it, Chad. That's what's cool. Making money from podcasting. That's cool.
You didn't go to LA because you were gainfully employed and making a living where you were. You had no reason to go to LA because you could do everything. And now there's no reason to fucking go to LA. You can do all this shit from your house.
Yeah. What Chad fails to realize here is that I wasn't trying to have a career in show business. I was a digital marketing professional for most of my life and owned a company and had a real career. Yeah. And I transitioned to my hobby because it worked out for me. But I didn't move to New York or LA because this is where all my friends and family live. Right. I have friends. That's why I still live here.
It goes back to the root of not having friends. Yeah.
I mean, Chad would not even understand this concept. He went from Cleveland to LA to New York to Tampa. He doesn't have any friends.
And nobody cared.
He didn't have to send out one of those little change of address cards to fucking and anybody. Nobody cared.
Oh, also, let's take a look at a day in the life of Chad, because this is him talking about how cool he is on that episode he just put out this week, saying how he's taking a break from podcasting.
I don't know any of you. You don't know my life. I have a life. I legitimately have a life. I'm going to the beach as soon as I upload this to Patreon. I'm driving out to Clearwater. I made a playlist on my Apple Music. I got my lounge chair. I'm going to the beach.
Sounds free.
Put my fucking foot in the ocean. I'm smelling the air, and I'm just going to enjoy it. I need it.
Oh, no. That's his humble brag? He's going to the beach by himself?
I'm keeping it real. I'm getting away from show business. I don't like shows. I don't like business.
Wow. That is sad, man. That's not the flex you think it is, Chad.
Yeah.
That sounded like, what was that old speech that Opie and Anthony used to play of the baseball player crying at his retirement speech? He was like, I'm just a boy with a dream who loved baseball. Like, he sounded legitimately. Yeah.
My dream came true. Oh my God, because he breathes so heavy, you could tell he's really affected by all of this. Like, Chad is not good at hiding the fact that all of this is weighing on him a lot.
Oh, yeah.
I think he was just excited about his playlist.
Maybe he was, yeah. All right, so then this is the last thing from the sit-down Zumock I want to play. And this is Chad telling me to come see him do comedy.
And I don't care. I don't care if I talk to Carl ever again. Who cares? I never met the guy. I don't give a fuck. I do the comedy in Carlson. I hope he comes to the show. Watch me do stand-up. Pay money. Try to come to troll me because I will kill. It's not working. It's not sticking.
Chad, you are not booked at Comedy at the Carlson. You will not be booked there. You're not a big enough name for that. You know who I'm going to see at Comedy at the Carlson coming up? Anthony Jeselnik. That's who plays the Comedy at the Carlson, not Chad Zumock. No. And I actually have a funny story about Chad Zumock. Speaking of the Comedy at the Carlson.
Sweet.
I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this. Somebody told me this. Who knows who? I think it was Nikki Glazer was here in town. And Chad decided to put himself on the show, unbeknownst to the club or Nikki. And what he did was he called up Brother Weeze's producer, our morning show here, and said, hey, I'm doing the comedy show at the comedy club this weekend. So he booked himself onto the Weeze show because the comedy club and Brother Weeze have an agreement and probably a contract that says that he interviews the comedians to promote the shows every week. Yeah. So the producer goes, oh, you're at the comedy club? Yeah, great. Come on in. So Chad shows up to the club and they're like, oh, hey, what are you doing here? He's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to feature. And Nikki's like, oh, I don't think that's true. We have a feature act, you know? So they're like, yeah, all right, well, we'll try to work you into the show. They were trying to be nice to Chad. We'll try to work you in. All right, we got to go do press, but we'll see you back here tonight. So they go off and do TV. Then they go over to the Weeze show. Who's sitting there is fucking Chad Zumock promoting his show that he had nothing to do with. He wasn't booked on. The headliner didn't want him there. This is how he weasels his way onto shows. Yeah. It's so pathetic and lame.
He weaponized his little bit of knowledge of radio industry.
Yeah, it's almost impressive.
And I don't care.
I wonder how many times he's actually done that, though. In how many markets he does that. He just shows up.
Scam worked once. Maybe
he's like, oh, yeah, I'm the feature act. You are? Huh.
But did Nikki and the club end up giving him time?
I think so. I think they were nice enough to give him time.
Crazy.
Because the people over there are great. Yeah, right.
Hey, I'm supposed to be here.
He's like a dumb, unfunny version of Fletch.
Yeah. He walks in a waiter's jacket with a tray, and then he turns his jacket inside out and jumps on stage.
Dude. I mean, he has to do that in Florida anyway because he's actually the waiter.
Dude, they were so pissed at him when they got to the Weeze show and saw him sitting there in the chair, and they show up with Nikki. They're like, what the fuck are you doing here, asshole? What a prick. What a loser.
That's insane.
Yeah, he's a loser. All right, let's play the rest of these clips about him talking about how he needs some time off from podcasting because it's all just become too much. He doesn't care, but it's also become just too much for him. Let's take a look at a day in the life of Chad.
I get up, pour some orange juice, getting ready for the gym, and I check my app mentions on the Twitter, and it's just bombarded. I don't even read half of this shit. It's just one thing after another, anonymous account, you're stuttering John, steel toe Gino, and I'm just like, what the fuck, man? I don't care.
Sounds like you care a lot. Sounds like this is bothering you quite a bit if you had to put out an episode talking about how you're not going to be putting out an episode because you're so upset about all of this.
And the steel toe thing boggles my mind because I feel like if you're a celebrity of any kind, even like a Z-lister like him, there should be a subscriber count threshold for where somebody's opinion matters. And I don't know if Steel Toe should be over it, right? No, knock on them, but like you shouldn't be bothered by those guys. They have like 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. Like, go be mad at somebody else, man, who's a little bigger than you.
Yeah, he's taking the Steel Toe thing real personally. And it's interesting because Steel Toe's growing, and I see them everywhere lately. Aaron,
they're all over my recommended.
Can you
for sure?
Can you catch me up on what that story is? The Steel Toe Zumock.
I'll let Chad explain it.
Cool.
And I get a DM about Gino's talking shit about me on some that Steel Toe guy who's trying so hard to play radio war with me, and he's just he does all the hack radio tricks. I know you're watching. You pretend like you don't know my name. I've heard it all, dude. I went to fucking war with Rover and Maxwell. Trust me, you're nothing. You're playing radio in your basement. I'm not watching. You're hard to look at. Your receding hairline bothers me. You do a podcast with your wife. Who cares, dude? I don't care if you like me or not. I don't give a shit. Hate me all. Just do the whole show about me for the rest of your life. I don't care.
So I think what happens is, remember what Cardiff Electric first started doing was anytime people were putting shitty things about John on the internet, Cardiff was sending him links to it. Mm-hmm. And it was really trolling John. I think that Chad thinks he has friends who are actually trolling him and just going, oh, now this person's talking shit about you. Now this person is. Now this person is just sending him link. Check this out. So I think that he was getting inundated with these steel toe links as Aaron and April were going after Chad and calling him a fucking loser. And that's why he got riled up by it, which is hilarious, of course. People right now in our Discord are saying that Chad said today he was going to go on Steel Toe. So that's interesting for a guy who doesn't care. This is a fake radio war. Also, his war with Rover, I don't think went well for him.
No.
Because when I try to research Chad, one of the things I find is the subreddit for Rover's Morning Glory and all the people shitting on Chad in there. Wow. So I don't think he won that battle. They're still on the radio, and Chad's fucking taking a break from podcasting on his Patreon to 100 people.
But he also says he doesn't watch the show and he doesn't know anything about him, and then describes exactly what he looks like in the format of his fucking show and his co-host.
He knows where they're out of Minnesota. He knows that. He knows everything about this show. He's just like, but I don't even pay any attention to it. And he even says, if you don't watch it, it doesn't have any power. Yeah, but if thousands of other people do, then it kind of does. It's kind of how that works, Chad. You can't just close your eyes and be invisible. You're not 5. All right. So, again, Chad doesn't care.
I need a hard reset from these fucking weirdos. I'm just so... Because I don't care. At the end of the day, I really don't care about these people. I don't know them. I don't care.
I could put together a I don't care supercut that would be 2.5 hours long.
But he had it to Kevin Meaney. Somebody... Okay, Chad Zumock Song Contest. Take his I don't cares and put it in Kevin Meaney's I don't
care. That's a good one. Yep.
He has this in common with John, Opie, Patty C. Cups. Yep. I don't think they know what the phrase I don't care means.
They obviously do not. Why does everyone think I care about this? All I do is talk about it nonstop. All I'm doing is complaining about it every episode. Why do people think that I care about it? So wisely, Chad realizes that maybe show business is not working out for him.
I have a college degree. Maybe I can figure something else out. I had a good run, 20-year comedy career. That was good. That was fun. But as of right now, my apologies to people that were looking forward to Sit Down Zumock this month or this week. I'm not going to do it.
Good news. No one was looking forward to Sit Down Zumock. You're fine. No, you won't get any angry letters. Where's my episode, Chad? What am I going to do now? You'll be fine with that. But I like the idea. He's thinking about a career change. Probably a good idea. Because I've heard your stand-up and you're terrible at it, and your podcasting sucks and no one cares about it. But he is going to do his football show that he does with Kevin Brennan, which, by the way, has 16 people on Patreon. And you could tell, because he lets it slip, you could tell what's on his mind here.
I'll do football tomorrow because I like talking football, and I don't have to talk about what the fuck Carl from Who Are These straight up football. Let's do it. But after that, I'm going offline for the weekend. I got to get away. Gotta get away. I got to fly away.
He's so talented, this guy.
How much a month?
Yeah.
All right. So, I also want to give a shout out to Ski Mask and my buddy Jim Stancil. They're doing a Sad Chad show now. They're up to episode 5. So, they're crushing them. They just had Aaron from Steel Toe on talking about Chad's car accident. So, Chad was just in a car accident this week. And let me read you the post he put out on social media about it, because this sounds a lot like a grift. This sounds like he's laying the groundwork, because no one would write something this long. This is what he says. For people trying to get a hold of me or message me, I currently don't have my phone. I was involved in a very, very nasty auto collision last night, coming back from a gig outside Sarasota, and my phone is still in the vehicle. If there's any good news, all parties involved are alive, and my friend who was driving was not at fault. Who cares whose fault it is?
Another fucking insurance scam.
So listen, the bad news is the person at fault of the other vehicle didn't have insurance. My friend is still in the hospital with a clavicle fracture. Both her and I ache from the whiplash and have some minor burns from the airbag deploying. We can both work with this still being alive. We can both work
I hate
with this
to
still
do
being
one of
alive.
those, that thing that said you're happening, Carl, where weird things intersect in your life. I'm a licensed auto insurance claim adjuster, so if anybody can get me a copy of this police report, I will gladly come on the air and give you my opinion as to who's actually at fault in the accident based on the police report.
Okay. I appreciate that. I love that he points out, so he was in the hospital overnight, but he knows that the other person didn't have insurance, but that the person he was with does have insurance. Like, he's laying this weird groundwork for a GoFundMe or something.
Yeah.
All right. That was
a $1 Patreon tier.
That was exactly. That was the first paragraph. Paragraph 2. The other car went through a red light and hit our driver's side front, sending us into a 180 spin. If my friend didn't hit the brakes, she could have hit the driver's side door, and my friend could be dead. Yeah, and if an asteroid would have landed on Tampa.
Yeah.
I've never been in a major car wreck before, but it's very scary as hell. He loves the word very. It's very scary as hell. All right. I got home from the hospital around 7 a.m. this morning and have been sleeping since. Well, no, you're actually social mediaing. I'm in pain and will be resting all weekend. I won't be making my show in Port Richey this Saturday, but I've already found a replacement. My apologies. So wait a second. He got someone to cover his shift? Yeah. I already got someone to do my set. Like, are you a server at a restaurant? Like, you're not in show business if you need to find someone to cover your shift. Right.
Chad, those 7 people aren't going to notice.
Jesus Christ.
My feature slot that I wasn't booked for is just going to have to do without me.
And then he says, as soon as I get my phone, I will return all messages. That's going to be a sad moment. He's like, no, there's no messages. Be safe out there this weekend. Thanks, Chad. We'll all be safe out there this weekend. So they were goofing on him on Anthony Cumia's show, and Chad actually called in because he was all upset. They're like, he goes, could you wait 48 hours before you start goofing?
He called in. How'd he get a phone?
He got his phone back. I know, yeah. Crazy how that works.
Who are these podcasts?